Welcome to the Surrogates Records Room. This is a little known facet of the Surrogates office. It's in the Hall of Records in Freehold, and we have estate records, guardianship records, assorted records going back to the late 1700s. They're in different forms. We have books, like these old proceedings books, that have a lot of information. We have the index for all of the names of people in Monmouth County. We also have some records on microfilm, which is a reel, and you have to look at it on a reader, printer that's designed to read those kinds of records. We also have microfiche, which are flat and which are made from the microfilm, and you also have to look at them on a reader printer. Then we have some digitized records. Some of the more recent records are electronically scanned. Everything that takes place in Superior Court probate part or takes place in Surrogates Court is electronically digitized right after it's completed. So those records are available on our computers. Some of these books are very, very old and are deteriorating. So we've been in a process going back to about 2007 of making sure that we've got backup copies of everything. These are historical records of Monmouth County and families in Monmouth County, and it's our responsibility to make sure that nothing happens to them and that this information is available. So I'm in the process of making sure that we've got backup copies of everything that's in this records room. First of all, we looked at all of the books that we had. We had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books that look like this one. They're old leather-bound volumes, and some of them had never been microfilmed, so there was literally no backup copy of those at all. So we had all of those microfilmed. In order to do the research here, it's a multi-step process, and you have to look in several books. You may have to look on several reels of microfilm, several microfiche. You might have to put them in the reader printers. There might be some other things available on the computer. So it's a laborious process and time consuming. So what we're doing is having all of the records digitized in a number of steps, so that if somebody knows of a name, goes onto the computer, puts the name in the computer, all of the associated records ultimately will pop up on the computer. And they won't have to be using the microfilm and microfiche. They won't have to be using the books. It'll be a much more modern, quick, efficient way of locating records. And for anybody who's doing research, whether it's a historian, a genealogist, a title searcher, it's just going to make the use of these records much more efficient. In addition, our staff has to look up a lot of these records, and they're going to be able to do that from their desk. We've done this project over a number of years, starting with the indexing of all of the estates from 1991 back to the late 1700s. So the index of those estates has already been digitized, and we're very excited about it. I feel a responsibility to the county and to everyone in it to make sure that nothing happens to these records. Especially after Superstorm Sandy, I think people realize that having one paper copy of something is a dangerous situation for a record to be in, because if anything happens to it, there's no backup. There have been records not just here, but all over the world that have been destroyed by fire, by flood, and wars, so that if anything were to happen in this room to these records, we don't have to worry. Everything is backed up by the county. So I think we've really taken a huge step forward, and I hope that anybody who has a family going back in Monmouth County will come and have a look at these records.